What is going on, Full Heel Podcast? I am your host, Donkeytron, coming at you with another episode. Today is episode, I think it's 83. Yeah, it should be 83. Today is episode 83. I took last week off. I apologize to everyone that was expecting an episode. It was my birthday, so I took the week off. It was my birthday actually Tuesday. Usually when I record, even though I'm recording Wednesday today, I usually record whenever the hell I want. It's usually Tuesday. Last Tuesday was my birthday, so I took that day off. So it's been a week. I had an awesome birthday. That Tuesday, my family came over. So my nephews, my brother-in-law, my brother was here, my mom and dad. We grilled. We grilled out. We had brats, hamburgers, arrachera, all that good shit. And, yeah, I had a nice Tuesday, so that's why I didn't record. Wednesday, I just, relaxed. Thursday, I don't know what I did Thursday. Probably did some unboxing or something. Opened a bunch of toys I was backed up on. And then Friday, I invited over my dudes. I invited over the Full Heel Podcast Fight Club. Invited them over to the studio. We had breaded steak pizza. We ordered 2 breaded steak pizzas. We maxed out on that. And what the fuck did we do? We just watched comedy specials. We watched Secret Time with Bert Kreischer. Hilarious. If you guys haven't checked it out, you guys should. It's been on Netflix for a couple of months now. Or not months, maybe a month. Shit. We watched, Chris D'Elia's as well. And then we listened to some music, I think. And then we were listening to music for a while. I think we threw on a little bit of the Milwaukee Los Angeles game. I think we did that. But all in all, we had a good time. Quadro came over. Jose came over. Frankie with the whole rewrites. Jamie came over. Am I missing anybody? I think that was it. So the rewrites, yeah. 1, 2, 3. Me. Jose. Quadro. Jamie. I think that was all of us. If I'm missing anybody, sorry. But I'm ripped. Yeah, we had a badass time. Like I said, we just hung out for my birthday, even though my birthday was Tuesday. And Saturday, I went to Jamie's sister's wedding. She's a cop from Chicago, so I, of course, smoked weed and went in, and there was a bunch of cops there, so I was a little nervous, but what are they going to do? They're all drinking and having a good time. They're not going to do shit, so. The open bar was pretty sick, actually. I didn't get a lot of stuff. I got like 2 drinks just because I was driving, and they were pretty strong. It was a pretty fancy place. It was like, it was like 45 minutes away from the city, towards the suburbs. Nice banquet hall. Like I said, they had a lot of basically any liquor option you wanted, you got. I got a Long Island iced tea and a whiskey and Coke. I don't know what kind of whiskey they had, but it looked like it was pretty top shelf because they actually had beer on tap. It wasn't just beer in bottles; it was beer on tap. So it was fucking fancy as hell. Really enjoyed it. Shout outs to them for the invite to the family. Me, my mom, my dad, my brother, and my niece went. They were giving away little Patron bottles. I think you guys can see it. It's right there. It's right in front of Thanos. So, I got a little Patron bottle. Might pop that open and empty it out into my stomach. Not today. I'll save it for later. It's Don Julio. It's some good tequila. So, I'm going to use it as a prop as well. I got a bunch of badass gifts as well. Over the weekend, since my birthday was Tuesday, a bunch of the gifts were given to me on Saturday. I'll show you guys actually the gifts. I'm gonna do an unboxing, but I'll show you guys some of them. So, this is This isn't in any order or anything. This is just how they're stacked up. So Jesus gave me a light up link, a light up digital link. It's pretty fucking sweet. I collect figures. I collect a bunch of shit. If you guys haven't kept up with the podcast, if you guys are new to the podcast, I am a figure collector. If you guys are watching the video, you guys can see behind me, I have a figure display. One of my guys from work, shout outs to Superman Abel on YouTube. You guys can check out his channel for unboxing and stuff like that. Hooked it up with this badass Thanos, Walmart exclusive Thanos. It's been pretty hard in Chicago to get, maybe not in the suburbs. I think I've seen it more out there. I just haven't come across it. It's been harder for me. So, got him. Jesus got me WCW champion Ron Simmons from the Champions line, I think. The Hall of Champions for WWE. So, that was awesome. My nephew got me this big old motherfucker. He got me Planet Hulk. The Hulk with shield and axe, helmet, and armor. I think it was a Disney Store exclusive. But he got me that. Shoutouts to him. And then my boy Quadril got me this Pop Funko. I usually don't collect Pop Funkos. There are really... I've seen some that are really cool. This is one of them. Shoutouts to Quadril for getting me this. Like I said, I don't collect them. But if I've come across this one and I've wanted to buy him. And... it's awesome. I got him as a gift now. I can add him to my metal diecast. So, if you guys want to see those, check out the YouTube channel. I'm going to do an unboxing for those. If you guys just want to check it out in the video, go ahead and check it out on there. But, awesome gifts for my buddies. Yep, I know. I'm 30 years old and I still collect toys. The big 3-0. I am grown up, and I'm going to still collect toys, so suck my cock, cocksuckers. What else? That was it, I think. Sunday. Nothing much. If you guys haven't checked out Venom, go ahead and check out Venom. Venom was awesome. I don't know if I talked about that. But I need to catch up on some news for... well, let's get into WWE first. So, our condolences and prayers go out to... well, I don't know if condolences... I don't know if that's just for dead people. But our prayers go out to Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns had to relinquish the Universal title due to his ongoing battle with leukemia. Apparently, he's had an 11-year ongoing battle with leukemia, beating it before previously. I guess beating it into remission, and I guess it's come back. That fucking sucks. I've always... I wouldn't say I've been like a super fan of Roman Reigns. I've been a fan. I've understood his place. I know he's a really good worker. You guys can go ahead and check out the podcast. It's been recorded. I like Roman Reigns. I know how he gets pushed, and I know why people don't like it, but I've always been a fan of his. I think I even told my brother when the Shield was first in the WWE, when I first saw them at least, I thought Roman was the clear-cut champion out of the three of them. They've all become champions, but Roman, I believe, has held it more times than any of them, both Universal and WWE. So, our prayers go out to Roman, man. It really sucks. He finally had his time in the light. He finally had his time to shine and really be able to... how can I put it? Take advantage of the push that the WWE was trying to give him now that Brock was on his way to fighting. But now that Brock was committing to fighting, they had focused their attention more on a different champion. That being Roman Reigns. They put the Universal title on Roman Reigns. He's had it for a little bit now. He was probably going to defend it at Crown Jewel, but now with this leukemia thing, it just really sucks. He deserves he deserves his time on top. He deserves his time with the title. I believe he's a really good worker. He just needs some work on the mic. And I believe that work on the mic is letting him do him. Letting him speak for himself. Whenever Roman is scripted, people don't like it because it doesn't seem like it's him. Whenever they let him go off script, and maybe it's not super long promos or vignettes or anything, he's more his role in the Shield is perfect because he doesn't have to say much. But that time that after he beat the Undertaker and came out and he didn't say, I think he said 3 lines or like 2 lines. I think he might have even just said one thing and then left. I think he said, "This is my yard now," and then left. That was one of the craziest responses I have ever seen in a while, or reactions I've ever seen in a while to anything. He gets reactions, good or bad, and I think that's what WWE wants. You need your heels and you need your faces. They wanted to have him as a face. It never worked out. He had his times as heels where it did work out and everyone wanted to change. We never got it. With this, I don't think we're ever going to get it. I think he comes back, and I think he comes back loved. If he's able to come back, which I think he will, after this bout with leukemia, I think he'll get better. I think he'll come back, and I think he will be a fan favorite. I don't know how or why people hate on him. Well, I guess I've explained it why I believe. It's just WWE has pushed him. So people are just tired of that. They don't believe he can be champion. Or they don't believe, I don't know what they believe. But prayers go out to Roman Reigns. Sorry. Really sucks. Let's get into SmackDown. Let's get into SmackDown. Let's get into Raw. Yesterday's Raw. I'm gonna get into some news as well and the UFC card this weekend. But yesterday's Raw started off with, like I mentioned, Roman Reigns relinquishing the Universal title to continue his battle with leukemia. The second thing we had was, in the first match, was Finn Balor taking on Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley, as of late, is taking on Lio Rush, I think is really, really small dude, 205 Live guy competitor. Really good, really big mouth. Talks really well, but he's super tiny. He's like tiny version of Lashley, but he's super loud mouth. And he comes out just yelling, "Lashley, Lashley, Lashley," and just shit like that. And just like annoying stuff. I get what he's doing. I like what he's doing. Makes Bobby Lashley a heel. They turn Bobby Lashley heel kind of like that, like a snap of the fingers. He just became a heel, especially with Lio Rush being his mouthpiece. And just annoying the crowd. And they're going to have to figure out what to do with the commentators and him talking at the same time, because it's kind of hard to understand what's going on there, but we'll see. So Finn Balor takes out Bobby Lashley with a simple roll-up. Forgot exactly what it was, off a distraction or something, but I thought Finn Balor was going to take the loss here. I'm glad to see that he picks up the win. But yeah. So I don't know where they're going with that. I don't know if that's going to be a feud or anything, but Finn Balor, good. Didn't get squashed, didn't get buried any more than he has been. Second match of the night, Ruby Riott takes on Sasha Banks. All three win. So the Riott Squad is gonna take on Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Natalya at Crown Jewel, which I'll get into Crown Jewel towards the end. I'll give you my thoughts on Crown Jewel, and I'll break down what's kind of going on, a kind of basic overview. They're going to have a 6-way tag match at Crown Jewel, so they were going to have a singles match. Ruby Riott gets the victory over Sasha Banks. classic move by the WWE, giving the heels a victory right before the coming up pay-per-view. I don't know if it's this weekend or in 2 weeks. I think it's in 2 weeks. I'm not sure. But Ruby Riott wins, and yeah. Then we get a vignette by the Brothers of Destruction in the Boiler Room. D-Generation comes out, talks about it, mocks them on the old school vignette. And then we get another vignette from them in a graveyard, from the Brothers of Destruction in the graveyard, about the upcoming match at Crown Jewel. So I probably haven't talked about it. So since that last time we had Triple H versus The Undertaker, if I remember right, Triple H beat The Undertaker at that last event that they had down the Down Under show in Australia, which led to a match between DX and the Brothers of Destruction at Crown Jewel. So they've been going back and forth, week by week. So, yeah, that's the build-up to the match. And we had a couple of vignettes and D-Generation next in the ring, talking about the X or something. I don't know. After that, Braun Strowman confronted Paul Heyman. And then Drew McIntyre came and hit him with a Claymore kick. So there's a clear-cut push coming for Drew McIntyre. Not only did he get thrown into a tag team championship, he's been paired with Dolph Ziggler in a very good move. Would seem like they were going to kind of break them up, but not anymore. Maybe this is going to be Drew's singles push. I don't think Dolph's going to want to take a backseat to anybody. So we'll see how that goes. But he Claymore kicks the shit out of Strowman. And that's definitely putting him into the title picture now that Roman's gone. Brock's going to be off training for the UFC and fighting for the UFC. Well, maybe one fight, but we'll see. So Drew McIntyre's getting his push. He's getting his push, so that's good. Elias takes on Apollo Crews in a very, very good match. I've always been behind Elias. I like what Elias does. I'm a fan of Elias. I like Apollo Crews, not as much as Elias, but I think there's bigger and better things for Elias. And, yeah, so that's why I like him more. He came out beforehand, played his guitar, and then he comes out to, I think, a second time to play his guitar, and general manager Baron Corbin comes out, interrupts him, kicks him out of there. Elias comes out and smashes a guitar over Baron's back. I don't think this completely makes him heel. A lot of people are saying he's heel now. I don't know if that makes him heel. Everyone hates Baron Corbin, so because he's the active general manager, blah blah blah. Everyone hates him. And so right now they have a feud between Ronda Rousey and Nikki Bella going. I think the feud came out of nowhere. I like where it is now, but I don't like where it stemmed and where it came from. So Ronda came and kind of her... So the Bellas had been gone forever. Nikki due to injury and Brie due to retirement and having a kid. But, well, she retired and then had a kid. Natalya was behind Ronda, kind of her mentor, and then they kind of dropped that once the Bella Twins came into the picture and started backing Ronda up as well. Started coming out with her, started being very friendly towards her, which kind of was leading into something weird because I don't know where that came from. I don't know where that stemmed from, so it was kind of weird. So, a couple of weeks ago, the Bellas attack Ronda and just beat the fuck out of her. A week after that, they come out with security guards and Ronda beats the shit out of security guards. The Bellas get out of there. This week, they signed a contract where I think Nikki Bella is going to take on Ronda Rousey for the WWE Championship at Evolution. I understand that Ronda's the champion, but I don't see how Nikki can get a title shot that quick. She hasn't been around for a while. She's recently come off of injury not too long ago. I get the feud, but I don't think it should be for the title. And I get it's a pay-per-view and it's at Women's Evolution, but like I said, it came out of nowhere. The Bellas came out of nowhere because, like I said, they were both out of the scene. Then they came into the scene, and then Ronda becomes champion, and they turn on her, and now they're in the championship scene. To me, it just doesn't make sense. It's a little bit jumbled together. A little bit of a forced storyline because of the popularity of Ronda Rousey and the Bella Twins. They wanted the Bella Twins to face Ronda Rousey because of the popularity. We haven't seen it. I get it. It doesn't make sense, but whatever. That's WWE. Ember Moon takes on Nia Jax, Dana Brooke, and Tamina in a fatal 4-way. Ember Moon winds up winning. I really, really like Ember Moon. She's a really good worker. I don't know if I think it was before this. Nia Jax cuts a promo where she's gonna win the battle royal that's gonna lead to the championship at Crown Jewel. But it was a really shitty promo. I don't know. Dana Brooke also cut a promo where I think she's the last entrant into the battle royal, which is gonna make her the favorite. And Tamina's been away forever. So it was between Ember Moon and Nia Jax to win this match. Ember Moon being the clear-cut favorite. She picks up the win. And then Titus O'Neil introduced 6 breast cancer survivors. A very touching moment into this. They've been doing this a lot. And especially with Roman Reigns' bout of cancer right now that he's got to fight. They should be talking more about cancer. Cancer is a serious thing, and more people should learn how to try to prevent it or, understand it more. Talk about it more. So it's great that Titus O'Neil does that. We're probably going to see more and more of it. And especially when Roman Reigns comes back. That's going to be great. So, yeah. Main event, Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins take on Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre, the Raw Tag Team Champions. Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins win, so that makes Dean Rollins Tag Team Champion and Seth Rollins Tag Team Champion and Intercontinental Champion. So this is where it gets kind of weird and confusing. Dean attacks Rollins after the match. Them being Tag Team Champions kind of makes it really weird. Why would WWE let them win the championship and then have Ambrose attack Rollins? I wonder if it continues as them as champions and they somehow make it work. I don't know. I don't know how that dynamic's going to work out, but we'll see. It's really weird. Yeah. So that was Raw. I thought it was a really interesting Raw, entertaining Raw. I'd give it a thumbs up. And then SmackDown was yesterday. Yesterday's SmackDown was kind of boring, which is kind of rare because SmackDowns are kind of good, but SmackDown 1000, I'm giving it shit because, well, first of all, The Rock wasn't there. The fucking guy that they named, not that they named after, but one of his slogans or his catchphrases was laying the SmackDown, and then they had the show called SmackDown, and he wasn't there. I just think a lot of stuff was missed. I know they had Evolution, but Evolution was a Raw thing. I know it was in Batista's hometown, but like I said, they were on Raw. So that didn't make a lot of sense. But SmackDown 1000 was underwhelming. Yesterday's SmackDown was kind of sucky as well. So the show started off with New Day in the ring. Kofi Kingston's going to have a match against The Big Show because The Big Show came and helped out The Bar last week to win the tag team, or was it Down Under? Forgot exactly where it was. I think it was it was at Down Under. He came out and helped The Bar win the tag team titles, SmackDown tag team titles. So it was third man versus third man now because they're both going to be on the outside for the Crown Jewel pay-per-view. It's going to be weird. I don't know why The Big Show came out. It's really weird. But it is what it is. The Usos take on AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan in a rematch from last week where Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles had some failed chemistry in the match, and I think it was AJ Styles that got double super kicked because of a blunder between Bryan and AJ. So the Usos got the win. This week they get the win in a similar fashion, but this time Daniel Bryan thinks it was intentional by AJ. They were trying to prove that it wasn't intentional by either of them. And yeah, it's leading into a feud of sorts. They're trying to create a feud of sorts because Daniel Bryan's got a title shot against AJ Styles. So they're trying to make it make sense. I like where it's starting. We'll see where it goes. Those guys just putting on a good match is going to be enough, and they're bound to have a good match. Those guys are awesome performers. The Miz has Rey Mysterio on what is it, Miz TV. Rey Mysterio he took on Shinsuke Nakamura last week. I think he won. Don't remember. That was the main event. Rey Mysterio defeats The Miz this week. So Rey Mysterio, I think, is back for a 2-year stint, if I'm not mistaken. But it's nice to see Rey Mysterio back. Nostalgic, of course. And we'll definitely get some figures with him. So I'll be expecting those. Let's see. There was like a huge brawl that's going to be part of they're going to be part of the Battle Royal of Evolution. So the women of SmackDown were part of that. Asuka was there at the end. So kind of a teaser to this Crown Jewel Battle Royal that the ladies are going to put on. So it's going to be good. Shane McMahon came out and was talking about the WWE World Cup, which I think has all Americans in it. I'm not sure. I wish they would have done it different, especially since it's not for a title, since it's not for anything. I wish they would have had a lot more diverse people in there, and actual people from different countries. But whatever, because they have a variety of countries in their stable, so it's diverse. But they did what they did. Whatever. Randy Orton takes on Jeff Hardy, beats Jeff Hardy. I think they're both in that match, in the World Cup match. So we'll see. We'll see who WWE wants to win the World Cup. It was an underwhelming SmackDown, especially last week. I didn't like last week's as well, so we'll see. Raw definitely took it. Started off on a low note, but a very interesting but low note. I didn't hear about this news that Roman had leukemia. So again, prayers for Roman. But after that, good matches, and interesting stuff. Some nostalgia with Undertaker and shit like that. So good Raw. I think that Crown Jewel event is soon. I'll talk about that after the UFC card. NXT's on right now, so I'm going to catch NXT as soon as I'm done with this. Let's see. So the UFC is this weekend. UFC Fight Night. Let's see, actually. 1 second. I should go over the fucking... I'm horrible at this. Sorry, guys. I'm a shitty fucking host. I should probably go over the matches that they're going to have at Crown Jewel. Or at Evolution. October 28th is Evolution, and Crown Jewel is November 2nd. Touch on those real quick. Evolution is going to be headlined by Ronda and Nikki. We're also going to have Becky Lynch versus Charlotte. Did I skip over Becky Lynch and Charlotte on SmackDown? I think I did. Sorry. Did they have anything? No, they didn't have anything. I think they had promos. Or vignettes, sorry. They really didn't have anything. But they have an interesting feud leading up to it. Becky Lynch being the heel, sorry, that's loved by the crowd. Everyone loves Charlotte too, but it's interesting to see that Becky Lynch is trying to be turned heel, but the crowd isn't behind it. Her character is heel, but they're not really behind it. The crowd's definitely cheering the fuck out of her. They're behind Becky Lynch. Then we're going to get Trish and Lita. They're going to take on Alexa and Mickie James. Then we're going to have Kairi Sane, NXT champion, versus Shayna Baszler. These two have been going at it since the Mae Young Classic. And then they continued their feud onto NXT. Shayna was champion. Kairi Sane took it. And now it's a rematch of that. So NXT does it right. NXT does it right. So I think those are the matches for Evolution. I think we're going to get the Battle Royal as well. I don't know if any more are going to be added. Crown Jewel, which don't think people know where it's going to be at. But Crown Jewel is going to be headlined between Brock Lesnar and Braun Strowman for the Universal title. Vacant Universal title now that Roman has to fight leukemia. Yeah. Triple H and Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker and Kane. Nostalgic. They've never faced each other. That's what was weird. That's what they were saying. So, in a tag team match, DX versus the Brothers of Destruction. The 8-man World Cup tournament. I'm pretty sure there's going to be like a badass trophy. They did for the 30-man Royal Rumble. Or the 60... Was it 60-man Royal Rumble? I think it was 60. Something ridiculous like that. I forgot how many was the greatest Royal Rumble. But, yeah, there's going to be an 8-man World Cup. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a trophy at the end. AJ Styles is going to take on Daniel Bryan for the WWE title. That's going to be a good match. So, looking forward to that. The Bar versus the New Day with Big Show on the Bar's corner and the New Day having Kofi Kingston on the side with the 3-bird rule. But I think that's who's going to be on the outside. That's who they had them face off against each other. So, let's see. I guess I'll get into the WWE news. The WWE Crown Jewel news. So, if you guys don't know about the WWE situation, they're going to have... They had it booked to have WWE Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia. There was a journalist from Saudi Arabia that had escaped Saudi Arabia and was reporting on them, and I think he was in Istanbul. I forget exactly where he was, but he went to the embassy to get papers for marriage. Never came out. They believe he was murdered. They sent a hit squad because he was known to be at the embassy from Saudi Arabia. He's believed to be killed by Saudi Arabian officials. His body taken away, everything covered up, and WWE kind of stopped advertising that it was Saudi Arabia. They just started advertising it as the Crown Jewel. I'm not sure, but I think these allegations are proven to be true. Like I said, I'm not sure. This is all alleged, from my understanding. I don't exactly know if they've proven it to be true. But a lot of superstars have voiced their concern over going over to Saudi Arabia, especially if they're going to have officials taking out journalists for doing these type of things. The women aren't. I don't think they're allowed a crown jewel. Crown jewel, sorry. And actually, crown jewel might not be in. Well, that is in Saudi Arabia. They weren't allowed in that other country that they just recently had that pay-per-view at. Might have been Saudi Arabia. This might be the second one, but they're getting a fuckload of money. So the WWE's been trying to just keep hush-hush about the situation and keep an eye on it. And that they said they were going to keep an eye on it as well. John Cena and Daniel Bryan came out saying that they did not want to wrestle and that they were refusing. And it was reported by someone on Fox as well, saying that Daniel Bryan and John Cena would not wrestle at this event. And I think ticket sales, I'm not sure, but as of today, I think I read a couple stories that the ticket sales are at a different place. It's not going to be in Saudi Arabia. Crown Jewel is still going to go on, but not in Saudi Arabia. I wonder what this means for the WWE's relationship with Saudi Arabia. I know they had a contract. I know that it was for a lot of money, but it looks like they're going to have to change up plans. So I thought that was an interesting story. You guys can check out the Full Heel Podcast Fight Club on Facebook. Just join the club or check out the page. I share news on there all the time, WWE related, UFC related. You guys can check that out. I don't know if I mentioned it on SmackDown 1000. Batista alluded to wanting a match with Triple H at WrestleMania, saying that he's never beat Triple H has never beat him at WrestleMania or something like that. So that's kind of interesting. And yeah, I think that's it for WWE news. That's all I got for the WWE. Move on real quick to this UFC fight card that we had this weekend. Everyone's still talking Conor McGregor. Everyone's still talking Khabib Nurmagomedov. But this weekend, UFC Fight Night. Ozdemir versus Smith, October 27th. I think it's Volkan Ozdemir's first match since losing to DC. Was it DC that beat him? Yeah. DC was the last guy to beat him, and this is his first match since then. Ozdemir's only loss. And we're going to see how Ozdemir handles his comeback. He's 15-2 versus Anthony Smith, 30-13-0. He's had a couple of impressive wins here at 205 since moving up from 205. I kind of doubted that it was the weight cut. It kind of seems like it was the weight cut, but is Ozdemir a little bit too much right now? Ozdemir, I know, got stopped by DC, but DC knows what to do to stop you, to neutralize your game. And we've only seen DC do it to Ozdemir. Ozdemir's been able to knock out everyone else. Smith has beaten Hua and Rashad Evans here at 205. His last loss was at 185 to Thiago Santos. I don't know if it was the weight cut. It might have been the weight cut. Could have been the weight cut. We're going to find out. If Anthony Smith wins here, he's definitely getting a title shot versus whoever the next champion is. So we'll see. We'll see what goes on with Anthony Smith in that bout. Like I said, he's 13-30. I know Ozdemir's 15-2. I like Ozdemir in that match. I'm not doubting Ozdemir, not anymore, but not just after a loss. Michael Johnson is a late replacement. I can't pronounce the guy's name, but he's taking on the Russian Hammer, Artem Lobov. It's gonna be a tough matchup. I think it's a higher ranked opponent. I don't know how much harder of an opponent it is for Artem Lobov, that Russian guy. I don't know how good he was. Especially they're all really good at wrestling, and they got some okay boxing and power, so, that's them. Let's see. I think Michael Johnson takes on Artem Lobov, handing him his 15th loss. He'll be 14-15-1. Man. Artem's got a tough record, but Michael Johnson's 19-2. It's not that much better, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes for Michael Johnson here at 205. I'm gonna go for Michael Johnson. I think he could pick up the victory, but we'll see what happens. Misha Serkinov versus Patrick Cummins. I've never wanted to root against Pat Cummins. He's got a really good skill set. I'm going to go with Misha Serkinov. Patrick Cummins always never seems to be able to get it done. He had a tough debut in the UFC versus DC, but he came in talking all that shit, and that's why he got it, talking shit. But in his last, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, he's 2-2. He got KO'd by Nogueira. He beat Blachowicz, and then he beat John Vellante. Lost to Corey Anderson by decision. Let's check out Serkinov. I haven't seen Serkinov's record. There's opponents. Damn, he's got 2 losses. He's lost to Glover and he's lost to Ozdemir. He got knocked out by Ozdemir and Glover. Shit. Before that, he beat Krylov. Before that, he beat Kurilaba. Fuck, this is gonna be an interesting matchup. But I think Serkinov can get it done against Pat Cummins. I think Serkinov had some tough guys to go against. Not that Patrick Cummins hasn't fought a bunch of tough guys, but we've seen what happened to him. I'm going Serkinov. Andrei Sukumentoth versus Jonathan Martinez. Don't know why they don't have Jonathan Martinez's picture. Maybe he doesn't have any fights in the UFC. Let's check it out. Let's see. Looks like he has no fights in the UFC. It's his first fight in the UFC. I don't know where he's coming from either. Anything in his bio? Nope. He's 9-1. Wish I knew where he was coming from. Versus Sukumentoth. I think Sukumentoth is coming off of a loss to Afro Kid. Smokes a lot of weed, new guy. Sugar Sean O'Malley. Yeah, there we go. Yep, that was his last loss. Before that, he beat Luke Saunders. Before that, he's coming off with 2 losses. Sukumentoth's had a tough time in the UFC. He's had a pretty tough time. And Jonathan Martinez has not had any time in the UFC. So it's going to be interesting how he handles the jitters. But the kid's 9-1, and they seem to want him for this division. So I'm going to go with Jonathan Martinez against this Sukumentoth. Sukumentoth's tough, though. But I'll go with Jonathan Martinez. John Vellante versus Ed Herman at 205. I'm going to go with John Vellante right away. I like John Vellante. I think these guys fight very similar. Kind of slow strikers. They can wrestle. I think John Vellante wrestles a lot more than Ed Herman uses it. So I'm going to go with John Vellante. I think they're going to strike it out. I think John Vellante picks up the victory. TKO, second or third. And opening up the FS1 card, we have Alex Garcia versus Court McGee. I'm going with the Dominican Nightmare. I think he's going to be able to knock out Court McGee. Alex Garcia's got some mad power. I think he lost in his last fight, though. But who was it to? Yeah, he lost to Ryan LaFleur. Damn. Decision. Before that, he beat Muslim Salikov. Before that, he lost to Tim Means. Before that, he beat Mike Pyle. Goddamn it, Alex Garcia. What about Court McGee? How's he been doing? I know I hadn't seen him for a while. He recently came back, though. Let's see. 2017. No, I guess he didn't take that much time off. He's had some losses, though. His last 4 fights, he's only picked up a win against Dominic Steele. He lost to Ben Saunders, and then in his last fight to Sean Strickland. Damn. I am going to go with Alex Garcia for this one. I'm leaning more towards him, so that's what I'm going with. That's what my gut tells me. The main event for the FS2 prelims is going to be Nordine Taleb versus Sean Strickland. Damn, this is going to be a good match. I'm going with Nordine. I really like Nordine. I think he had a loss in his last fight, though, but I see him recovering in this one. Yeah, he lost to Claudio Silva. Damn, let me see who Strickland beat last. Or how he did it. I don't remember Strickland's last fight. Strickland lost to Zalasiki. Yeah, I don't remember that fight. Before that, he beat Court McGee and then lost to Kamaru Usman. That's nothing to look down on. Then before that, he beat Tim Breeze. I'm going with Nordine. My gut tells me Nordine. Taleb. I don't know what the odds are. Let's see. Theobald Goody versus Nasrat Happer. Oh, it's a little. It's little fucking what's his name? Gastelum. This guy looks like a little mini Gastelum, but he's from Germany. I'm gonna go with Hekpersrat, whatever the fuck his last name is. I can't pronounce it. Sorry, dude. But I'm going with him. He's 9-2 versus 12-4. Gotti. Yep. I'm going with Little Gastelum. Calvin Kattar versus Chris Fishgold. Man, I guess it's Fishgold's first fight in the UFC. They don't got a picture for him. I'm going with Kattar. I forgot who he fought in his last fight. Calvin Kattar. A very good performance, though. Nope, not in the loss. We lose to Renato Moicano. Moicano's really good. Before that, he beat Shane Burgos. And then before that, Andre Fili. Okay, I probably remember the Fili fight then. And the Burgos. I'm going with Kattar. Kattar seems to have more experience. Well, yeah, more experience. This guy hasn't even fought in the UFC. The other guy. Chris Fishgold. Yeah, but I'm going with Kattar. Sarah Morris versus Talita Bernardo. I don't know who Bernardo is. I've seen Sarah Morris fight once. I don't know. I can't make a good pick on that one. Then we have T. Edwards versus Don Meg. I think Edwards is from the Contender Series and Meg hasn't fought in the UFC. Edwards is 6-1 and Meg is 7-1. God, I can't make a pick on that one. Arjun Bowler. Oh, fuck. Arjun Bowler got fucked up in his last fight and it threw him to the back of the fucking... Oh, shit, man. Arjun Bowler... He was going to get a good push and it looked like he was going to have something crazy, but he got knocked the fuck out, I think, in his last fight. Or put to sleep. It was nasty. Versus Marcelo Golm. I'm going to go with Arjun Bowler. That motherfucker needs to work on his submission defense. But damn, this guy's from Brazil. Probably got good... damn it. I'm hoping Bowler wins. I'm hoping Arjun wins. That's who I'm rooting for. And then the first fight is going to be Stevie Ray versus Jason Arai. I definitely know who Stevie Ray is, but I do not remember this Arai guy. I think I've seen him once. Okay, yeah, I've seen him lose to Darren Till. I don't think I saw him in his other fight. I'm gonna go with Stevie Ray. I don't know who Stevie Ray beat his last fight. What weight class is this? Stevie Ray 21-8. He lost to Cajun Johnson in a split decision. He lost to Paul Felder in a TKO. He beat Joe Lozon. He beat Ross Pearson. So he's a tough motherfucker. Okay. Damn. How did this guy lose to Darren Till? Are they meeting at 170? I think this is going to be a 170 bout. Still, I'm going to go with Stevie Ray. I like Stevie Ray. That's the FS1 card for UFC's Fight Night this weekend. Definitely check it out. I'm going to. It's got some good fights on there. I'm going to go over some news, some UFC news, and then I'm going to call it quits because I got to open Gotta do an unboxing for those, so. Alright, so some news. The latest news is the UFC and ONE FC are going to do a first ever in UFC or MMA history, sorry. They're going to do a trade. It looks like they're going to trade, the UFC is going to trade Mighty Mouse. They're going to trade him for Ben Askren of ONE FC. In a very interesting move by both companies. It shows UFC's acknowledgement that ONE FC is a big-time promotion, that they do have big-time stars, especially them signing Eddie Alvarez. UFC wanting a Ben Askren. These other promotions are definitely on the rise, and it's beautiful to see not one, not two, but three different promotions in UFC. Not to mention the PFL that's on, I think on NBC. Combate Americas, that's good. That's on DAZN. And DAZN has been doing some big moves, and you're going to be able to see Combate Americas on there as well. Even if you're not signing it for that or signing into that streaming service for that, they're going to have so much different stuff that seems to be more catchy to the eye or to the public already signed, which I'll talk about right now. But yeah, this trade is really crazy. It's the UFC showing or giving leeway to other companies, showing them that they have big players as well. And it's kind of scary for the 125-pound division in the UFC if they're willing to give away one of their biggest guys, especially with how they talk about how boring it is, which I don't believe. I think some of the best fights come out of there, especially with the guys' speed, cardio, and technique. They have all of it, and since they're so small, they go on forever because it seems so effortlessly. I don't know what that means for the future of that division when they're getting rid of a guy like Mighty Mouse, not giving us the rematch in such a close fight between him and Cejudo. It's a very, very crazy move in my opinion, but an interesting move because it moves over Ben Askren. Ben Askren fights at what ONE FC's middleweight was, which they did not wait. They weighed in the same day, I think, and they had hydration tests. They didn't do extreme weight cutting like the UFC does. So Ben Askren was always coming in at I think 179, I think. I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure. It was a weird number, different from the UFC. Or I think he was just a weight class above, so he might have fought at 185, but he just wasn't cutting weight. It's gonna be interesting to see because he's gonna be fighting at 170. Maybe he drops down to 165, and they open up that 165-pound division. Since they're acquiring more guys that would fit that kind of weight range, getting rid of their smaller weight guys that don't bring in a lot of eyes. I don't agree with the move. I wish they would keep Mighty Mouse and not get rid of him, but what are you going to do? It's crazy. But that's the UFC. And I think that opens up the door for companies to trade. Like I said, this is the first time it's ever been talked about. I don't know. I don't think it's 100% done. I think they said it was close to being done, which I don't know what that means. I don't know if can the UFC sell Mighty Mouse's contract without his approval? Like, would he have to be in approval to it? And would Mighty Mouse want to not fight in the UFC? It's interesting. It's really interesting, like I said, because this is the first time it's happened. It's talked about. It's happening. It's in the process of happening. So we're going to see how all this plays out. But it's interesting. It's very interesting, especially in the new era that we're moving into And that new era would be the streaming era for sports. And by that I mean we have one of the biggest athletes signing with the Zone, and that I mean Canelo Alvarez, if you guys don't know, has signed a $365 million minimum deal with the Zone, 11 fights. That is the minimum he can make. I think that's just what he's going to get paid. There's still endorsements. I think there still will be bonuses. I think there still will be negotiating points between fights depending on opponents. And the Zone being so young, they have Combate Americas. Now they have Canelo. They have Bellator. So the Zone is going to be an interesting place to put your money in. $10 a month. And Paramount is owned, I think, by Viacom. And Viacom has a ton of fucking money. So they're not going to hesitate in spending money as well to get people to come to the Bellator organization, get more eyes in the Bellator organization. Especially now you're not going to have to pay the $80 pay-per-view whatever. You're going to be able to pay the $10 a month to watch Canelo Alvarez. And then if you keep the service, you'll be able to watch Combate Americas, Bellator. I don't know what else they're going to add, but I think they already have a lot more stuff that I don't even know about. That's interesting. It's definitely a bang for your buck. We'll see how those play out and who else they get, because I think they have Anthony Joshua as well. So two of the biggest athletes in boxing have signed with the Zone. That definitely changes the pay-per-view model. The UFC hasn't acknowledged it, but they're going to have to, especially with people being able to live stream. Well, not live stream, but steal. A lot of people stream this shit for $10. I think a lot more people would hesitate to stream it because they wouldn't have to for $10 is pretty cheap. $10 a month. I buy the pay-per-views, and me and my buddies, we get together and we pay for them. But not everyone has that convenience of being able to invite their friends over and watch the fights. So, we'll see. We'll see what UFC does, but they've just been put into check. It's not checkmate because they're still continuing to do it, and they just had their biggest pay-per-view. But I don't know. I don't know what this means. We'll see. Like I said, it's really crazy. We're moving into streaming, and we're moving into the UFC being able to trade with other organizations, which is crazy. Mid-contract. So we might not have to wait to see other guys leave organizations to go fight at other places. And we might even this might be the start that leads into Bellator champions fighting UFC champions. I don't think UFC is going to take it that far yet or anytime soon, but this could be the baby steps of cross-promotion champion versus champions. We will see. Let's see. Is that it? Eddie Alvarez signs with ONE FC. I think I mentioned that, but there's a little bit of questions with his contract. He said he's getting paid a certain amount, and someone came out and questioned it, and he came out and asked if they're calling him a liar. No one has really seen the contract, and the contract is between ONE FC and him, so that's what's up. That's all I know on that. Let's see. And then I'll end with Bellator results. Chael versus Fedor. Fedor used a lot of Sambo techniques in order to stop Chael's non-stop forward pressure in trying to wrestle him. Fedor got the knockout. Referee stoppage. Chael wasn't defending himself properly. So we're going to get Fedor versus the winner of Bader versus Mitrione, which happened first. Bader out-wrestled the fuck out of Matt Mitrione for 5 rounds. And we're going to see Chael versus Fedor, which is going to be an interesting fight to see how Fedor does against such a young guy and such a talented guy in Bader. But Bader's always struggled with the top of the line talent, so Fedor's old though. But yeah, I think that's it. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to the Full Heel podcast. Please share, rate, review, subscribe, do all that good stuff. It really helps out the show. I much appreciate it. If you like unboxings, I also do that for Marvel Select, Marvel Legends. I have WWE Elite that I need to start opening. My wall is full of them, but I just don't open a lot of those. Star Wars Black Series. I've opened some Halo ones as well, so check that out. I've started to collect toys and open stuff, so make sure to subscribe to the channel. You can hear the dog outside bark. Yeah, so thanks a lot for joining me. I love you guys. I'll see you guys next time on the Full Heel podcast. Check out the rewrites. They're badasses. Check out Talk is Deep. Quadro's a badass. And you guys are badasses for listening to the show. See you guys next time on the Full Heel podcast. Had a pistol in her boots, blonde hair, dark roots. Says she got a old man, but I shouldn't be worried.